Hi, Kathy. Mike here from the instructional design team at Delta Services. I want to make this quick video to recap our meeting and to give you some answers to the questions that we posed to other people on my team. So first, I just wanted to let you know that Tim did let me know that we're unable to make another dev shell, even though it's synchronous versus an asynchronous class. But I have a workaround for you, a way that you'll be able to work in the class and keep them delineated from each other and still be able to develop different things for different types of classes, right? The in-person versus the anytime classes, or the synchronous versus asynchronous. Okay, so quickly, I'm going to go into the classroom here. I'm just going to show you one of the classes that I work in. This is one of my demo shells here. You can see I've just landed here on the home page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I set up modules. And this is a way that you can efficiently work in with both a synchronous class, which is in person, or an asynchronous, which is everyone's out of sync, right? They're all just entering the class whenever and doing their work. So what I would do first is I would go to modules here in my index. So I'm going to click that once. Once that opens up, it'll show you here, I've only got one set of modules set up, right? I've got my chapter 1 here. I've got some lecture and telling them where to start. I've got some imported material where I brought in a textbook, and then the discussion assignment, and then the end of the week 1. So, or chapter 1 here. So what I would do is, if I was teaching two different types of a class, like synchronous or asynchronous, what I would start to do is, before I start to develop all these, when I'm first building my class, I would come in here and I'd go to the top of the module and go to the 3-dot menu here and click it once. Then I would duplicate this. Now, in duplicating it, I built all the same stuff, but now I've got a copy of it, right? So then I would change the names for the modules themselves. And the way that I would delineate between these two is I would go to the 3-dot menu, click it once, select edit, and then call this something that other students won't know, right? So if I call it A in parentheses, they don't know what that's referring to. That could be my asynchronous class. Or if I want to do my anytime class, right? A stands for both, conveniently here. So we'll update that. And then when I go to import this out of my dev shell and into my class, then I will look for all the ones with the A's on it. That'll tell me, oh, okay, these are all the things that I need to bring in. These are all the modules I've developed. That makes it easy for me. So then down here, let's say this is going to be the synchronous one. I'll do the same thing, except this time when I edit it, instead of having copy, I'll change it to something like S, so that I know it's synchronous. That's for my synchronous course. Then I can go and change these all around, right? Like for the synchronous course, maybe I'm going to have a bunch of lectures or a bunch of Zoom calls where students are coming in, and I don't need this lecture. So then I can go through and do my deletions, right? I can remove things that I don't need from this one. And then I can start to change this where it's not the same as the asynchronous class. So that's how I would handle that. Now I'm going to show you how to bring in different things at a different part of this video, but I just wanted to show you how you can manage your dev shell so that you don't have you don't have two different dev shells to manage. Again, I was told no, because we are trying to be efficient with the dev shells that we hand out. It does cost the college a considerable amount of money based on the number of dev shells that we create. So we're trying to keep them limited in number. So there's the answer for that. So now let's talk about the class and about what you and I had discussed. Well, we'll go into your class here. So here I've got you pulled up. Okay, so here, what we were talking about is, first of all, you want to do all of your development in the dev shell, right? Any of these that start with a DEV. So here's the dev shell for Squat. Here's your dev for Art 120. I believe the one that we were talking about was the development for 102. So here's the dev shell that you want to import everything into so that you can make all your changes. And so we'll click on that really quick. We'll go in there. Now, there are three things that we talked about. Number one, we want to go to the settings. So we'll move down here in this index to settings and click it. Once we're in this area, there are three things that we want to do. First, we want to export. So everything that's been in here up to this point, we want to export it. And the reason for that is you always want to keep a copy. Don't want you to have an epiphany and you're in some other class and you're like, oh, I think I made something that relates back to this, but you've deleted it, right? I've done that. It's terrible. And I'm in there reinventing the wheel. It's terrible. So you're going to export this. You can export it to your laptop or your computer, and then you can store it on a solid state memory device. You can pick up one of those for like $60, $70 from Costco or from Sam's Club, but it's a cheap way to have like 2 terabytes of memory. It's a good deal, and you'll fill it up with all the resources for all your teaching, right? You'll never have to worry about it crashing along with a computer. It'll be off your computer and on this device. So then here, we're going to select the entire course. We'd hit create export. I'm not going to do that here because again, I don't want to change your course for you. All right. So once you've done that, now we'll go back into the settings. So that's the first thing that we want to do. We want to create a copy, and you want to save it somewhere off of your computer, so you're not filling up your computer's memory with, you know, old classroom stuff. Second, you want to reset the dev shell. Okay, so here, when I'm in the dev shell, if I go to somewhere like modules, it shows all this stuff that's been imported or worked on here. It looks like it's been imported because it's got all these green lines by it. Here's something that you've built yourself, but these show the imported stuff. So if you want to wipe these out, again, we're going to go down to settings. We've already created a copy. So again, here on this side, on the right side, there's a reset course content. This is only in the dev shell. That's why we build here, because this can be wiped clean, right? This is the shaking in your Etch-a-Sketch. So you're going to click on reset course content, and then that will wipe this clean. You'll have a fresh Etch-a-Sketch and you'll be able to start building, okay? The third thing that we talked about was importing course content. Now here, this is gonna play into a couple different things. This is how you bring material in from another class into your dev shell. And it's where you'll be able to differentiate of what you wanna bring in, right? So you can bring in everything from a class or just pieces of it. So let's do that really quick. I'm going to click on import course content. Then I'm going to go to course type here, or content type here, and I'm going to select one. Now, there are a couple different things I can do. If I wanted to bring things in from that old export that I had saved on that other file, I could click this one right here, the export package. That'll reload all those things that I had saved, but I'm no longer using and have cleared from this dev shell. If I want to just copy it in from another course, I'm going to click on copy a Canvas course. And that's what we're going to do here. So once I've done that, then I'm going to select the course here from the drop-down menu. We had talked about this course, the Art 102 from spring. And if I select all content, it's going to bring everything in from that class. If I only want to bring in a couple different pieces, then I would select specific content. Okay, so for this, again, if I have synchronous or asynchronous courses, I would select specific content, and then I would start working with that content once I've got it done, right? Now, this can be your dev shell. So this is going to be, we're talking about the 100, where you're going to have those two different types of courses. So that's where you would bring in asynchronous versus synchronous when you're moving stuff into a class from your dev shell. Right now, we're moving stuff into the dev shell to start developing, okay? Then you can adjust events and due dates, and it's going to give you this warning that, yes, if you bring in course content more than once, you're going to wipe out any changes you've made in the class that you're in right now. So then you'd select import. It'll take some time. It'll bring all of those things in. But again, select specific content will allow you to pick all the different things that you want to come into this. All right, so I hope that's been helpful. I'm going to end it here. If you have more questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email. I'm here to help, and I'm glad to. Again, great connecting with you. If you need anything, please email. Take good care.